Hi, I'm from RisingWave Labs. RisingWave Cloud is our cutting-edge, fully managed SQL stream processing platform, and we now have native support for Confluent Cloud. So today, I will demonstrate how to ingest data from a Confluent Cloud topic into RisingWave Cloud. Let's head over to confluent.cloud and log in. We'll create a new free AWS cluster. Once the cluster is running, we'll start producing some sample data. Click Add a new topic. We'll name this topic Test Topic. To keep things simple, let's keep the default parameters. Next, we'll download the API key, which will be needed when creating the source in RisingWave. We'll select JSON and orders as the preferred format and template. Let's keep the connector sizing as is. Click Continue, and done. Now our connector will start generating messages. Next, let's log into RisingWave Cloud. Here we are met with the dashboard. On the side, there are 4 tabs that will help us get set up with RisingWave. Under Clusters, we can create and manage clusters, which provide the necessary resources for hosting databases and streaming pipelines. Under Source, we can create and manage sources. Under Query, we can access the built-in console to issue SQL queries. And finally, under Sync, we can create and see the list of existing syncs. Let's get started by creating a cluster. Go to the Clusters tab and click Create Cluster. For this demo, we'll select the free plan and create the cluster in AWS. Next, select the region, name the cluster, and click Create. It might take a few minutes to have the cluster up and running. Once the cluster has been created, we can connect to it in RisingWave Cloud. But first, we must create a database user. Fill in the username and password and click Create User. Now we'll create a source. We can create a source by writing a SQL query or using the guided setup in the Source tab. We'll use this guided setup method by going to the Source tab, logging into our database user, and clicking Create Source. We'll choose Confluent Cloud to be our source and fill in the corresponding details. For the topic we created in Confluent Cloud, the security options will be SSL plain with SSL. The username, password, and Bootstrap server information can be found in the API key we previously generated. Fill in the username as the API key and the password as the API secret. Once the details are filled in, click Check Reachability and Continue. We should see a notice saying that the source is reachable. Specify the row format and the startup mode. We also have the options to create an upsert source or to persist the data in RisingWave. When finished, click Continue. Next, define the schema of the source by naming the columns and specifying the data type. When finished, click Continue. On the next screen, we see the generated SQL query that the server will use to create the source. This query can be copied if needed. If everything looks correct, click Confirm. Now the source is created. To see the details of the source again, click on the source. We can create more sources that ingest data from other topics if needed, or we can start transforming and aggregating the data. To perform data aggregations and transformations, let's head over to the Query tab. Here we can issue SQL queries. On the left side, the source we just created should be listed. We can click on it to see the columns included. We'll create a simple materialized view for demonstration. Click on the green button on the side or the Run button above to run the query. Any materialized views we create will be listed on the left-hand side. If we query from the materialized view using a select statement, we can see a preview of the query results by clicking on the Grid tab. There's also a timer here that we can use to let RisingWave rerun the query in an interval. Here, item 458 has been added, while item 21 has been removed from the results. We can also create simple visualizations by clicking on the Chart tab next to the Grid tab. There are options to create a bar, line, or area chart. Below, you can specify the X and Y labels. The chart will update accordingly if you have the timer on. Now, if we head back to the Clusters tab and click on the cluster we've been working in, we can see the cluster status, which includes information on the CPU usage, memory, throughput, and more. We can also see the materialized views we've created and add any new database users we want. That's all for today's demo. Feel free to test out RisingWave Cloud to see if it meets your requirements. To access the documentation, head over to docs.risingwave.com. You can click on the RisingWave Cloud tab for info on the cloud product, or the RisingWave tab for our SQL reference, integration guides, and more. We also have a written guide on how to connect to Confluent Cloud. If you have more questions, head over to risingwave.com where you can join our Slack community or contact us directly. The RisingWave team is always here to help.